Welcome everyone to Male Fuzz TV. I am Peter, that is Tara. We talk about TV shows here. The year is 2023 and the name of the show is Babylon 5. This is not a season, this is a TV movie because they released a movie on TNT called Babylon 5 Thirdspace, which is set during season 4 but aired in between the episodes we were at in season 5. So it's a bit of a weird mind trip, especially since we've had this gap since the last episode we did. And all of a sudden the Ivanov is around and other stuff's going on. But yeah, we'll get into it. Were you worried about this being set in season 4?
I would have been worried if we got to it right away, but because we've had such a long break, I'm like, I don't have to think about where we're actually at in the season. So it actually felt kind of like a nice little reintroduction back into Babylon 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And one of the things that I was kind of thinking as well is that there was actually some big gaps in the air dates around here. Where the last little chunk of season 5 did seem to air quite a bit later than the rest of the season. So we've kind of, in a weird way, like emulated the actual release of some of this stuff. Not perfectly, but similar.
I apologize to anyone who is waiting with bated breath for our next Babylon 5 review, but like things just kind of got a little overwhelming on my side when it came to like scheduling. So we had to fit in all these new shows that were coming out.
Yeah. And it's something that will happen again at Twilight Zone when other new shows that we have to do come out. But Babylon 5 lately won't be affected again because we're so close to the end. We should be finished Babylon 5 before that happens.
It's Strange New Worlds that's coming out.
I think that's, it's like...
We'll have to take another break from the old stuff.
July, yeah. Well, I think we'll get like a month of Twilight Zone in before we have to take a little break from that. But yeah, it's basically just the Trek shows and maybe New Quantum Leap if we still want to do that when it comes back. But that's a conversation for us to have in September. So, yes. But yes, we're here to talk about Thirdspace, which I didn't really know anything about the premise of this one. Not because I don't typically read ahead for the premises of the episodes anyway. So there's no reason why I would change the way I do things, but because it's a movie, you might think, oh, it's a movie, not a TV episode. Do I get a sense of what it is first? So I had no idea this was kind of a horror episode, effectively, which I would basically describe as kind of like cosmic horror, kind of Lovecraftian in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. There's some like, I guess I want to say like there's like zombie elements to it. Even so when you mention horror, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of horrifying, but or like a Children of the Corn style thing or something.
I was getting more the sense that there's like this, evil alien force from another dimension that is like drawing people to it to open the gate. Like that's very...
You know what it reminds me of is Doom. It reminds me of Doom.
I think I was thinking more traditional Lovecraft or maybe something like The Void, like a specific comparison.
That's a good movie, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was going with my head with this. So yeah, the basic gist of this is that we're set between the end of the Shadow War, but before there's actual war with Earth. Like obviously there are tensions with Earth right now, but they've not actually declared a war yet. We've not had all the fighting towards the end of season 4 yet. I think I looked up as well, and they said something about because of the uniform that Zach's wearing, it has to be just before I think episode 9 of season 4. So fair enough. I can't pinpoint in my head exactly what was going on precisely at episode 9, but the broad strokes are here. They mention obviously Londo's away during this, which I assume lines up with the time period. Jacquard's not around either, which honestly I was a little disappointed not to have Londo and Jacquard. It might make sense that they're not there right now, but I still miss them.
Yeah, I mean I noticed that they weren't there, but like I also was surprised that we got such a Ivanova forward movie, so I'm glad that some of the regulars got to step aside so that Ivanova can have sort of a maybe not like a final closure things like the fans get to see her one more time because I'm sure she's going to show up again, but we got to have a story centered around her again, and Lita had a lot more to do, which I like her character a lot, so we got that. And Zach, who obviously we love, even though he's a bit weird in this.
He's not that weird. He just gets a little flustered and scared and backs out of his romantic attempt.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll get into stuff. I want to say this was shot between seasons. People can correct me in the comments, but I think it was shot before season 5. So, I think if anything, it maybe it was supposed to air originally then, but then for whatever reason, TNT or whoever said, nah, let's keep it for later or something. But regardless, we do have Ivanova, which was nice because obviously we've not had her all of the season 5, so that's really cool. Decent amount of Zach, decent amount of Lita, as you said. We even get to have Ivanova talk to Bridge Boy for one scene. Not in the same screen. They're talking over comms, but it's still
it goes back and forth between them. We see Bridge Boy.
It's the number one ship of the show, after all, so it's important.
He looks so scared.
He looks so intimidated and yet excited at the same time.
Yeah, he wants to be there, but he's scared.
I don't. The mind's rushing to so many dodgy jokes. I'm going to resist the urge, but it's there. I just want you to know, everyone, it's there. Although even Veer's dreaming of Ivanova this episode, as he's put. Now, admittedly, it turns out
there
it's
are
just
lots of ladies there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When he said that, I was like, Veer, why are you telling her about your weird sex orgy dream? And I'm
he says it's considered good luck in their culture.
Yeah. but then of course it's like, it's the shared dream that they're all having about this alien city or whatever. Okay. You're not being as weird then as I thought. But it was weirder because he didn't say that part. See if he just specifically said, is this weird thing where we're all standing in an alien city? I'd be like, it's just a weird dream, whatever. But because he said, you were there and there was lots of other women, but I shouldn't say anymore, that made it sound like it was dirty as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's what you exclude that makes it anyway. So yeah, Ivanova, they're dealing with the pirates and the raiders at the start, so there's a bit of an action scene, but the premise is really that Ivanova and the squad find this big artifact. I was just thinking of it as a ship, but they make it clear later that it's not actually a ship, but it's this big artifact that's half a mile wide, they mention, and they bring it back, and this other ship comes in to investigate it, this archaeological sort of type of group, and basically it starts affecting people. Lita's the first one who feels something even when it's far away because she's a telepath and she's obviously been enhanced with Vorlon telepath shit, so she sort of senses it right away and starts having visions and starts freaking out a little bit. Everyone else starts to be affected more when it's close by and it's being activated, and we get this kind of big, kind of grand scope idea of what Thirdspace is. So you have space, you have hyperspace, and then it's the archaeologist lady, if that's even the right term, but she wants to tap into this third space, this third layer of existence, which might even allow for quicker travel. But it turns out that this, and I'm sort of jumping ahead to the mythology part here, just so we can have context for the rest of this, is that the Vorlons, back in the day, when they were going around appearing as beings of light to people, and all the less advanced societies, like humans, thought they were gods because they were appearing as beings of light, they started to sort of eat their own or drink their own Kool-Aid, I suppose is maybe a better way of putting it. We're like, yeah, we are gods, aren't we?
Yeah. All you need is people to worship you, and all of a sudden you're a god.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I sometimes struggle with that on a daily basis. What are you talking about? Shut up. So basically, they tried to open a portal to this third space, which to them was like, is this where the gods come from? Is this effectively heaven? But it turned out that it's equally just hell as well, and that this other race, whatever it is, her highly advanced, highly telepathic, have been murdering everyone in their dimension and were trying to come through, and the Vorlons had to fight them back. And the Vorlons that were controlled telepathically, much like the humans and stuff that we see in this episode that are controlled for a bit, trying to help the device, they were able to hide the device in hyperspace, which is where Ivanova and Co find it. and that sets up things. But it's basically, yeah, if this thing opens, then the universe is doomed.
Have you ever played Trivial Pursuit?
Well,
the board game?
I am fascinated as to how this connects, but yes, I have played Trivial Pursuit.
Well, okay, because our space is like the outer ring, and then you have the hyperspace, right? Or the jump portals in hyperspace that connect to where you can cross the board. But then the middle part, the center part, if you get there, you can use any portal to get to where you want on anywhere in the board, right? So that's like Thirdspace.
That actually made a little bit of sense. I mean, I think of the Trivial Pursuit board as more of just like a wheel.
Yeah,
but,
with spokes.
Yeah, with spokes, yeah. But,
yeah.
Okay. So, basically, you just use the Trivial Pursuit board to do the folding the paper with the pen through it.
I Invent Horizon do.
That's what you just did with the Trivial Pursuit board. Very good.
Boom.
And it wasn't nonsense. I want to make fun of it, but it's not actually complete nonsense. Okay.
That's how I got to my understanding of Thirdspace. Also, it sounds a little bit like I was thinking, because of so much of the Lord of the Rings influence, it's a little Grey Havens like, but then it became something else.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I liked the vibe of this. I liked when I started to realize this was like a Lovecraftian style, like Call of Cthulhu kind of like story. I got into it. I was like, oh, okay, it's very standalone, and I suppose that's not a surprise. Like, how do you insert an episode effectively into the middle of season 4, and like for some reason in my head I was worried it would be too continuity reliant, but it's really not. It's very like, who's on the station?
It feels like a good episode that's been elongated out to fully tell the story.
Yeah, but like I was expecting more connections to like what was around it in the timeline. But honestly, the only importance the timeline really has is just what's the status quo and who's there and who's not, and that's pretty much it, right? Everything else is just kind of a standalone movie. And
I'm so glad that Cole didn't show up. I was worried for a little while, but like we got halfway through, I'm like, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's gonna be here.
That's a good point. That would be possible. He could have showed up. That is entirely possible.
Luckily, Cole was also off ship.
As is Garibaldi, which may line up with his various trips. I can't remember, but I will say there are a couple of characters who feel like there's a lot of Veer in this, and it kind of just feels like because Veer's available, so we're going to use Veer a lot.
Yeah.
And I like him. I'm not complaining, but Delenn similarly also kind of feels like she's there at the start and she's there at the end, but she kind of disappears for a long stretch of the episode.
Yeah. She's vital though for the end.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's always a pleasure. She's got a great scene with Sheridan early on where she basically accuses him of like wanting to explore this thing himself because he loves the unknown. He loves like discovery and investigating like mysterious stuff. And the big
he wants
grin
it for himself. Yes.
Yeah, the big grin she has on her face as she's like saying, "No, your eyes light up like two suns. You're like a child, and your eyes are saying mine, mine, mine."
She kind of brings up a good point where she's like, "We don't really have like the scientists to study this thing, but like, and we're not part of Earth right now, but like we have other worlds that like." Minbari scientists could take a look at it, or Centauri, but like you just learn it for yourself to explore first, so you have it. But it's kind of a good point. Like, why not? You're not part of Earth right now. Why not have your own alliance? Check it out.
Because he wants to do it himself. I mean, to be fair, given what ends up happening with it, it's actually a good thing that they had a fleet of ships to fight it, because all the other ships start coming out of it towards the end. Like, it ended up being something they need a military force to deal with it. So
yeah, I'm a little confused as to like, a lot of people were under the influence, almost like a spell of the telepathic entities on the other side, the big ticks. But like, it seemed kind of selective on who, and like, what were the limitations? I didn't quite understand. Like, people were saying, oh, you can get close, but not too close. But like, there were people on the station who were affected. So like, surely the fighters would be closer than people on the station.
No, you're mixing two different things here. The proximity thing was more about it draining the batteries, because the drones that went close to it like just lost all their energy. That was separate from the telepathic link. The telepathic link wasn't anything to do with like closeness.
Was it just like a Jedi weak-minded thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how I read it. They don't really go into it much, but I suspect it's like, yeah, people who are, I don't even know if it's weaker of mind or what, but
I don't know, because I mean, Veer's not that weak-minded.
No, I wouldn't say so either.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like just like a, I don't know. It's like a slight DNA thing. Like just you've got a -1 at the end instead of a -0. That's affected you first. Because Ivanova gets the dreams, but Ivanova never gets controlled. So it kind of implies that it's reaching out to everyone, but it's affecting different people to different levels.
Maybe you have to like accept the dream. I don't know.
Or
I mean, because Veer falls into the arms of all the ladies that are there, and Ivanova gets eaten by a tick.
Or hear me out. Ivanova would be controlled, but resists it because she's part telepath.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which admittedly, Lita gets pretty heavy into it, but she doesn't get controlled by it though. She just kind of like has this weird connection to it because she can sense it. I suspect that's more to do with the Vorlon like upgrade she has than it is just base telepath, because there's a lot of telepaths on the station.
Yeah, it's more like the whatever Vorlon thing is in her is like being controlled rather than her, because she's having like she's just kind of like a shell of a person, and something else is taken over. Yeah,
she's having visions. She obviously there's that scene where Zach tries to ask her out on a date, but she's like in a sort of trance kind of thing.
I want to talk about this.
Okay. You had problems with this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little inappropriate, like at the timing, like they're stuck in an elevator together. She can't escape. He's talking to her. She's clearly not interested. I mean, obviously she's being controlled by the Vorlon at this moment, and she's like in a trance.
I feel like not interested is a bit of a stretch.
If you started talking to somebody at work and they're literally giving you the cold shoulder because their back's turned to you, they're not acknowledging you in any way, and you keep going on and on about how like you could be so good for them, and like then they even like touch you a little bit on the shoulders, like, you know, that's a little too far. That's crossing the line. Plus they're like stuck in an elevator. She can't escape. Like
okay, I see what you're saying. Location's not a great choice. I feel like the way it's written to me, especially since he goes on this sort of curve where he then sort of like realizes she's not reacting and then backs out of it and then says, let's never speak of this, I'm sorry, you know, I've overstepped, I hope I didn't overstep. He sort of like goes down that path, right, as the conversation goes on. I think you're basically nitpicking at the way some of his dialogue is written. Like it's just
written horribly. Like right. I don't think it's written well. I was cringing like the whole time. And like if I were in that situation, I'd be like, come on, dude, not right now. Like, we're work friends. Like maybe if we were having a nice moment together and you wanted to open up about feelings, I'd be more open to it, you know, but like this is not an appropriate time or place. And then he follows it up with like, you know, unless you're let's never speak of it again. Unless you know you're into it, then we're cool. Like, no, I don't like that. And also, like, I like that they were platonic friends. Like, can't people just have a platonic relationship, or they have to be into each other? Like,
yeah, but they already changed that though. This is not a new development.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't like this wrinkle. I like that, you know, he brought her pizza and stuff because he just really wanted to be her friend. Like, that was nice. Like, they could be a work husband, work wife, but like not. I don't know. I don't want them to be a thing.
I think it's supposed to be an endearing scene because of the way it's framed. I agree that all the way he says things are perfect, but I think he's supposed to come off as just an awkward guy who doesn't know what to say rather than
no. I love
else.
him. I do. I love his character. He comes off as creepy because they do not know how to write flirtation in this show. They just don't. Well, consistently across the board, it's been bad.
No, Tara, that's fair because that has been a consistent thing that we've talked about numerous times. I don't think this is the worst example of it though.
Well, no, there's clearly one other that's worse.
I don't know. I guess it's just because like the actor is good at just having that kind of Zach charm, right? He has this kind of like innocent feel to him.
If you put ominous music during this scene, like just a one note of the like, you know, something really off key, you'd be like, ooh, where's this going? Is he gonna kill her?
There's something, I don't know, like I think, see, if you swapped this with Garibaldi and you had Garibaldi say these exact same lines, I think I'd agree with you 100%. I think it would come off as kind of creepy. For some reason, Zach's just got like a childlike kind of niceness to him. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, he's super likable, right? But even in this, like, I think he crosses the threshold where, like, nope, it's not good. Back off, man. Bail out, eject.
I guess I'm just disarmed by Zach. There's nothing about him that feels threatening to me. But I'll accept the perspective here, because clearly I've never been a woman who is
trapped in an elevator.
Trapped in an elevator with some dude who's confessing his everlasting love. But not that he ever says that. He doesn't go that far. But yeah.
No, I mean, he does say some things though there, but like it's a bit much.
He says something like,
too cringe.
We could be good for each other. I could be good to you, or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
So what you're saying is Bridge Boy, where he just shows up and goes, "Yes, punish me, mummy. I mean, Commander." That's better.
Oh yeah, it's the only relationship I buy in this whole series.
Wait, you love Sheridan and Delay?
Yeah, I do, but I mean, if you're on the outside looking in, you know,
it's corruption.
Like, they were flirting with each other in the beginning of the episode, and I was like, haha, you started a genocide on my home planet that almost was successful. We're so cute together.
Oh, we're back on this again.
You know.
You tell me I was spoke about Babylon 5 in a while, because Tara's ready to just whip out all these old thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be in the background when I watch it. Like, I can't, I don't know. It just seems like we've crossed the line.
Okay, anyway, moving on. I do want to mention the scene that introduces Lita in this episode, just because it's kind of like a funny little aside where this guy has hired her to sit down with him and his brother because he wants to finally get some truth from his brother, because he's convinced that his brother cheated on him with his wife like 20 years ago, and he finally wants to know the truth. And there's a whole big build-up where the other guy keeps talking, and he keeps, no, I want him to finally hear us. Yes, I consent to all this mind-reading. And then he finally asks, and he answers, no, I didn't sleep with your goddamn wife. And he's like, oh, go on then. So, is he lying? And she's like, no, he's telling the truth. It's like, but, you sure? It's like, yeah. And then she's starting to feel the weird like, telepathic stuff at this point, so she leaves feeling unwell. And it's just, this guy's just sitting there like, I like severed the connection with my brother, and my family took his side. I've been alone for the last 20 years because I was convinced that this thing was going on that wasn't. It led to a divorce. I've been miserable. I don't know, I thought that was funny. But maybe I've just got a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I understand where it was going. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks for that guy. Like, probably should have contacted a telepath for $50 or whatever a long time ago.
I feel it.
Although at the same time, it's like, you know, if you trust your family, then maybe you shouldn't have to.
I think they're charging more than 50, but it does beg the question: why did he wait this long to get a telepath? I mean, he says he's dying, and that's what motivated it, but it still feels like an odd choice. Like, if you don't trust your wife, surely you go to telepath therapy, where the telepath therapist will just confirm, no, there's nothing going on here. You're being paranoid, right? Mm-hmm. Go make up and I don't know.
Whatever couples therapy telepaths tell people to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's it though. He's so paranoid though. He's probably paranoid that the therapist is having telepathic private conversations with a wife. Be like, your husband's a loser. You should just leave him already. And how would he ever disprove it? I mean, you couldn't. It's back to trust again.
You have to get another telepath.
You have to have a whole chain of telepaths
to watch from the window.
Oh no, he's hiding in the plant in the corner of the room. So if the telepath lies, the therapist lies, the other telepath in the tree just stands up with the tree in his head. Yeah.
They'll just have a sign.
Haha, gotcha.
A yes or no. I think flashcard that they use.
Hey, anyway, so once things get going, we have this like scientist lady who comes in, who honestly I thought was distracting because she looks so much like oh, who's the captain in season 5? I'm forgetting her name now. Lockley. Yeah.
She does.
She had same cheekbones. I was getting this. It was like she had a haircut, and she's a scientist now.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, she was very striking.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, damn, she looks so much like her.
Very severe features. Yeah.
Yeah. And she, like, I wasn't really sure what they were doing with her throughout the movie, because I was kind of thinking, like, is she going to be like this devout one? She's like, the twist might be that she's not like just under telepath control. She's actually just devout, and like that's why she showed up so quick. That's why she wants to study this thing. And instead, nah, she's actually just like a scientist who wanted to unlock third space. To admittedly, she's not that likable, because when she's talking about you selling this for money and like making a fortune, she doesn't just say, oh, we can like enhance like travel and people can travel from star systems in like minutes instead of like days and weeks. She actually says it's also a great weapon because you could just teleport somewhere and like kill someone and we'll make a fortune. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't like you very much.
Yeah, she's kind of evil.
Yeah. She's a evil capitalist.
I was kind of hoping that we would have the ending where she would be the one to go into this other city and then to be like completely transformed. Like it ends up being a Hellraiser situation where she gets her skin ripped off or something.
Speaking of going in, though, we have to talk about Sheridan and his jetpack.
Pretty sweet.
We get it's like Spock from the motion picture getting into the V'ger stuff. Like that's what it's kind of like. You get, obviously with, you know, Babylon 5 1998 CG, which is obviously
it's adorable,
a little bit different. And then he eventually sees like the you said something. I was thinking more jellyfish with these aliens, but you can.
They look like ticks.
Okay.
I mean, they have some sort of. I mean, they're ticks, but with like some tentacles, some floaty bits. But for the most part, they look like insects. Like they have insect-like arms, and they have like a exoskeleton. It looks like they look like something I'd pick off my dog after a walk.
I think they had enough dangling bits that I was getting more of a jellyfish kind of vibe, but because they tease one of the tentacles like in the dream earlier on, and then you see the full thing when Sheridan's in there planting. Which, by the way, I did think this was a bit silly. He literally just has like a nuke in a suitcase, like inside like a safe. Like,
well, it's the future.
That feels like a weird thing just to have sitting like in a desk. Like, unlock this. Oh, there's my nuke. Like,
oh yeah, I guess they keep that on the station.
Just feels a bit weird not to have it with I don't know, somewhere else. But you know, whatever. So it all comes down to like the crew and the fighters all like taking on the ships coming out of it while he plants the bomb inside. Which is what Vorlon Lita tells him to do. She sort of beams all this plan into his head.
He should have kept it with Draal on the planet. Do you like that I was able to remember that name? I think that's right. Draal.
I mean, you're ruining it now because you're second guessing it. Like, you're right, but you've ruined it now.
You had to think about it.
Don't be just say it and be confident. You stopped and went, "Is that right though?" Like that, you've ruined it. Like,
well, it's because you didn't say anything, so now I got you know. You didn't
give me a chance. You didn't stop talking. You just kept.
You
going.
had to go right away. I need confidence, at least every 20 seconds.
Very good, Tara. I'm very proud of you. There's a little clap.
It's been a while.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Nice.
Which does beg the question: why not just get Draal on the planet to like whip up its super weapon to deal with this thing? Well, no. To be fair, there was
he knows that the humans got it.
No. To be fair, there was a force field that nothing could get through weapon-wise. You know, Sheridan had to go in a suit with the bomb and set it off from the inside. There's an answer for this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Sheridan had his pocket.
He had his pocket. That's that doesn't sound good. We shouldn't use that.
He had to pull a Spock suit out. Go for a Spock run.
That doesn't have to be a verb for this, I don't think. It can just be Sheridan used his jetpack. No. No. I mean, I think overall, like, I like the interesting bit of lore here just to flesh out the Vorlons a little bit and be like, this is when the Vorlons were in their prime, and like the idea that they went a little bit too far. Because there's narration at the start and the end with Sheridan, and he kind of says at the end that, yeah, this was the Vorlons' mistake, so we're going to lie and like we'll be honest about as much as we can be. It was a trap. It was, you know, like it telepathically controlled people. But this whole idea that there's this third space to deal with that, you know, we could potentially go to, because some idiot somewhere is going to say, well, what if we just build an army big enough, then we could fight them and then take third space? Like, someone will have that idea. So he's like, no, let's just keep this a secret. This is the Vorlons' mistake. It doesn't have to be ours. We've got enough of our own. We don't have to deal with that one too. So, yeah. So I think I appreciated the you know, I liked hearing that bit of the lore. As far as like being an essential episode, I wouldn't say it really is. I would say it's just kind of a fun horror story that adds a little bit to the Vorlons.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe it'll come back again later in this season. I'm not sure, the idea of Thirdspace, but you know, I like that there is. I like the ancient history of space. You know, I like that in sci-fi a lot. When there's a book series called Hyperion, and there's all these planets are connected and stuff, including Earth, but like there's these random planets throughout the galaxy that have these giant labyrinths, and like nobody knows why they're there or why these planets were selected specifically or who built them, you know. But I just like the idea of just ancient alien history, you know, not like the ancient aliens on History Channel, but like the really, like, this one's like 1 million years old, this thing is, right? And even the super intelligent aliens that have been around longer than us and technology far surpasses us, even they came across something that was scary and made them fail, you know.
Yeah, no, I like that part of it. And this show's been rich with like this idea of the old history. Everything with the Vorlons and the Shadows is like this thing that dates back to like previous civilizations and all that stuff. And a lot of sci-fi has that, you know, all these civilizations build up and then they eventually end and then we start again and we're in this cycle. You know, a lot of science fiction has that kind of idea. But there's a nice sense of mystery and awe to it and like, yeah, creepiness to it, because it's like, yeah, these things are dangerous. Mm-hmm. So... yeah.
Even the Vorlons couldn't make it work.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that we always come back to, like people, like the races evolving into like, or ascending to their next level, and that the Vorlons were just as dumb as humans once upon a time. Yeah, like, and that's surprising. So,
come on, humans, let's be the ones that make it. We're going through our terrible twos right now, but.
So I had fun with it. It's a fun standalone movie, but no, I wouldn't say it feels essential to anything either. It doesn't feel like you need to see it.
No, it felt like a treat.
Yeah, it's just it feels very designed as a standalone thing, and maybe it's, you know, I don't know what the reason was for setting it when it's set, because like I say, maybe it's because maybe just depending on where the season ended up or whatever, I don't know, but. Regardless, it is what it is. So, decent time. Mm-hmm. So we will be back next week with our next regular episode of Babylon 5. So I'll look forward to that. And I believe there's another 1 or 2 TV movies to do as well. We're not going to do the spin-off show that lasted 1 season. I think we're kind of out on that, but we have a few TV movies I think left, and 5 episodes of the show, something like that.
Whoa.
Not much. It's not a lot. So we'll be done in a couple months.
Let's knock this out.
So yeah, we'll see you for the next regular episode next week. Let us know what you thought of Thirdspace in the comments below. And we'll see you then. So like, subscribe, ding the bell for notifications. You can support all the content over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again. Keep watching Babylon 5. Just don't give away the home world. I remembered it.